morning, good afternoon, good evening, depend on your time and your location. This is one of your own Biafra TV. As I welcome you on this wonderful afternoon, depends on your time and your location. Please, as I welcome you, I urge you to welcome one another by hitting the like button. That is how you welcome another person. Once you share a program, automatically you have welcomed another person to join the program. And what we are doing needs us to share the programs so our fellow brothers will join us as we move. And it is very, very important that you share the program, like the program, so others will join us, so they can be able to follow up as we move. So I thank you for your resilience and standing here always with us, to listening and also sharing the program so that our fellow brothers and sisters will join. I want to thank you for doing that. And also, I want you to know that all that we are doing is yielding fruit in only one thing, which is very, very important at this stage that we are into. So if you're looking a place that you will see the program, I urge you to join on our WhatsApp group. Then you will see the link there. From there, you will understand that we are live and we are direct this morning to discuss on the issue of our own peaceful declaration and what it simply means for a group of people or to use an organization to make a declaration of a new country. Yes, okay, Udo. Good morning from here. I wish you the best of the happy new month. Yes, amen to all your prayers, and also I wish you the same. So there is more to what we are doing at this point that we are into. You know, we might be doing things, and in our own narrative, our mindset should be that we are doing it that we are doing the right thing. But when you check how other people have done their own thing in the past, then you will come to realize that you are not doing the right thing. So the only option you have is to change those things that you are doing to tally or to suit in what others has been doing before. In this movement of having Biafra as our own country, how can we achieve Biafra as a country? Can only protest, agitation, be a member of IPOB? Can only that thing give us Biafra as a country? These are the areas. You be a member of Rising Sun. You be a member of Avid, and always start. Can things bring us Biafra? Should be the necessary questions that matter so much that we need to begin to ask ourselves. Snapping picture of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Using the name of the rising sun, collect money. Use the name of the avid, collect money. Use the name of Fallback Bridge, collect money. Use the name of a BGC, collect money. Use the name of Masob, collect money. Can all these things give us Biafra as a country? Even though if you say that the Biafra you are looking for is non-violent movement like Wazwike, can all these names that we are bringing in and in all these groups that are coming up in this movement of Biafra, one question should be, by having a multiple group names, can it ever give us Biafra as a country? That should be your number one question within yourself that you need to ask yourself, you need to verify by yourself. Through verifying that, then you may understand if what we claim about some groups is how we achieve Biafra. Is it how other countries in the past have achieved their own country? These are the areas I want you to be thinking at this stage that we are into. Why can't we say, what are those things that we are not getting right? And when you check of those things that we are not getting right, what of if those that we are not getting right is the things, the group, the things we do that they could not draw attention of international community? If the things we are doing is not the things that will lead us to where we are going, is it not at important high time that we all as a people ask ourselves, what are that thing that we are doing that makes the world never listen to us and give us Biafra as a country? And the question should be, with only agitation that we always carry on, that we always preached in this 21st century, can only this agitation, can only this protest make us to have Biafra as our own country? I want you to be thinking this way and also be asking yourself, which way is the best way to achieve Biafra as a country? These are the areas I want you to be thinking. And as you are thinking, as we are moving on, you need to also think, what are the criteria in this 21st century that will make Biafra to become a nation? If in the past, you could not be able to go through that lane that will bring Biafra as a country, and someone else that you undermining has gone through that process, if you really want Biafra, like the way I want Biafra as my own nation, what do I have to do? I joined that moving trend when I find out that this group or this organization has met the criteria that will give me Biafra as a country. The easiest thing is, for me, is to adopt and work with this group that have achieved Biafra as a country in this 21st century. I want you to be seeing yourself or moving towards this direction in your mind. You also have to look at it this way. Things that you are doing right now, is it how other countries achieve their own? If not how they achieve their own, What can we do that will lead us to that road that gives Ethiopia, Angola, Algeria, Guinea-Bissau, Namibia, Congo, Israel, Brazil, and Belarus country? Is it not also go through that way that give them their own? Even though if it was in the past, but the history continuously repeating. It's not going through that process is what will give us Biafra. If it's going through that process is what will give us Biafra. Why can't we go through that process? I also want to tell you that every country in the past who have fought for their freedom, they all have problems. They all have groups. In Africa, one of them that have the highest group is a country called Namibia that got their freedom from South Africa. They have many groups. Even the enemies created a group among them. The enemies created their own military among them to demoralize them. But those who understand in general what it means and what they are looking for, those that make the peaceful declaration, they continuously doing the job. They continuously moving very hard. They continuously working. These are the areas that people in the past have moved towards. A country like Namibia was being handled by a woman. Today, Namibia, that got their independence from South Africa, are they not existing functioning country today in the world? If I may ask you. Why do I use Namibia? Because it's a country that a woman declares. A woman declared it. Now, when some country that a man declares, after a man declares a country, they will say that this a country is a motherland, not a fatherland. Why? Or in our own case, are you going to change that history to suit you on what you claim and what you believe on? That's our problem. Like I said, we are not going to take much of our time on narrating issues today. If you went for the headline of this program, there are things you will see. 21st centuries, UN, EU, and AU, peaceful declaration, nation in waiting, a group with agitation, insurgency, mob, rebel, terror. This is how the world addresses a group that is agitating without making intention, making officially their intention why they're agitating. And without them organizing it very well, the world pay no attention. If you go back, you will still see agitation without peaceful declaration. This group is often viewed as a social protest movement on the harsh word terms, an insurgent group. This is how UN, AU, EU addresses agitation in the 21st century. For over all these years in this movement, I am not attacking IPOB because it does no longer exist as a group after our declaration. Whatever they are doing, I want you to know since over all these years, I just want you to go and ask questions. I want you to type on anywhere you are making research. A peaceful agitation without a peaceful declaration of a nation. How did the international law see it? That is my assignment to you. That's what I want you to check. That's what I want you to look at, to look into, to find out what it's all about having a new country? What is all about Biafra that you are looking for? I want you to ask, without a declaration, can agitation make the world or UN or EU or America or Israel come and say, oh yeah, you have made this agitation for so long. On that note, come and take Biafra as your own country. Okay, because of Ojukwu declared it in 1967 to 1970, because of this you are over protest and agitation for over all these years that you are agitating for. Because of that, your name of your country is Biafra. I want you to check very well. There is a criteria in everything. For a child to pass out from school, he must read all the textbook. He must done all his homework. He must done a class text, and he must take in a general exam. Through all these things, what they will combine on in a school, and said after the final exam, after marking the final exam, that they pick up from the textbook, from home assignment, from class test, from general examination. On these 4 criteria, your child will pass out from school, come back with a result. Ndị Igbo anyị ekwuo sị na obi jere amị mana o nwee boot na o nwekwa amị o jere. What is the boot in your long-term agitation? What is your final result in your long-term agitation? The final result is a peaceful declaration that leads into recognition of a new nation. And in this 21st century, the world has made it openly that the only way to achieve a new nation is by peaceful declaration. Look at, on that's my headline, you will see 21st century, UN, AU, EU, peaceful declaration, nation in waiting, a group with agitation, insurgency. If this capture could have allowed me to write more, like when we are going to be playing and reading this document out and be explaining to our people to understand it, that is when you will understand where I am coming from. Now that we have focused on that 21st century law that said we are no longer using military to give a nation recognition, and there is no calling from a military commander, a liberation commander, that will make the world to answer to come and conduct a referendum, because the world have moved away from military battle, military field, to have a nation. They are moved into a peaceful declaration that is the key of a new nation. What we are doing, is it going to be different from what others have been doing in the past? That is the question we need to ask ourselves always. So, like I said, the only thing you will do for me so much here is what? Make sure that you like, you share, you comment. She goes here, good morning from James. She goes here, good morning from here. I see you, you're welcome. As you join me, please like and share the programs to bring more people to come in to listen to what we are doing at this wonderful hour. That is my humble request from you. Or anytime that you are going to watch this program, please hit the like button. Because the more you hit the like button, the more the message is going viral. Once you like the program, share it. Another people from your own notification will listen this program from your side. And you also sharing that good news to go viral. And also, once you like a program, anytime you come across of it, you find out that I have liked this program. So please, once you come in, hit the like button. Now, we are going straight speedily to the program that brought us here, that I want all of us to listen. The narrative has changed. If the narrative of having a new country have changed, is it we that we are not going to change? If the world are changing, so we will remain in that one thing that we have started doing from 2014 to 2026. So that's one thing that we are doing from 2014. You want to continue doing it in this 2026. And how do you think you are doing one thing from time immemorial and you think you get a different result? No, it's only when you do a different thing is the only time you get a different result. And what is this different result and different thing have to do? I am not going to say it from my mouth, but as we are moving on right now, then you may understand it. I also want you to know one thing, that any peaceful declaration, any peaceful agitation without a peaceful declaration, it simply means that you are protesting for a better government under the existing country that we are fighting for. And it is a time that the world will not talk about you because of internal affair matter of the old country. But when you make a peaceful declaration, it has now become external. It also becomes what gives the other countries the world power to talk about you. That's why I said, you see, this movement of Biafra is not about what I want. It's not about how I feel. It's not about what I think. Enwe ndị be anyị na-ekwu na-asị na ọ na-eme azụta share wee zọba ute. Many things we are doing in this movement is ya na-akpị ya bụ ịzọta ana, bụ anyị na-azụ ute. Why na ịzụtaba ala? What is ịzọta ala anyị na-ekwu okwu ya? Things that we triggers media pressure on the side of the EU, UN, and the AU to give us recognition. This recognition will be Alsta Shana where Zobute. These are pure to want you to understand. So we move. Listen to this, because it's very important you do that.
In the 21st century legal landscape, the difference between these two groups is the difference between a rebellious faction and a state in waiting. International bodies, the UN, AU, EU, and foreign courts look for specific markers of legitimacy. Here is how they distinguish between your two scenarios. 1. Agitation without peaceful declaration. This group is often viewed as a social protest movement, or, in harsher legal terms, an insurgent group. The legal void. Without a formal peaceful declaration, the international community has no written guarantee of what the group intends to do if they win. Will they respect human rights? Will they follow international treaties? The labeling risk. Because agitation can easily be provoked into violence, governments find it very easy to label these groups as terrorist organizations or internal security threats. International view. They are seen as a domestic police matter. Other countries are usually hesitant to intervene because there is no clear legal person to talk to. 2. Civil disobedience, plus sit at home, plus peaceful declaration. This group is following the Kosovo or South Sudan model, which is the gold standard for 21st century self-determination. The power of the sit at home. In international law, this is called demonstrated effectiveness. By getting millions of people to stay home, the group proves to the world that they, not the central government, control the will of the people. It is a non-violent show of force. The peaceful declaration. This is a legal contract. By issuing this, the group officially enters the international stage. They are saying, asterisk, we're not just protesters, we're a government. We promise to follow the UN Charter. The defense of civil disobedience. Because the group is peaceful and disobedient, rather than violent and agitating, they gain the moral high ground. If the central government uses force against a sit at home, the international community views it as a crime against humanity, rather protesters. Comparison. The legal standing. Feature. Agitation only. Civil disobedience plus declaration. Legal personality. None. Seen as the mob. Emerging state actor. Strong. Foreign support. Unlikely. Too risky. Possible. Referendum/mediation. Why the Declaration is the 21st century shield. In the 20th century, groups used guns to get attention. In the 21st century, groups use law and media. When a group makes a peaceful declaration, they move their struggle from the streets to the courtroom. They can hire international lawyers, lobby the US Congress, and file cases at the African Court on Human and People's Rights. Important note, a group that does agitation without a declaration is essentially fighting a boxing match with their hands tied. A group with a peaceful declaration and a history of civil disobedience is inviting the world to be the referee. Would you like me to look up the criteria for statehood under the Montevideo Convention to see how a peaceful declaration helps meet those requirements?
I hope you are listening. This is only way out in this 21st century. And this way, this only option of this 21st century is very, very peaceful, that nobody will arrest you. Nobody will detain you. No country will tag you a terrorist anymore. No country will call you insurgency. Nobody will see you as a rebel or mob group. Do you see the value, the importance of this 21st century law that we have to follow? For us to achieve Biafra, made when? Through USB government, by a peaceful declaration that was held on Helsinki, Latvia, Finland, November November the 29th, 2024. This is when this criteria of UN, EU, AU has approached. And that is when we have concluded our intention to the world that what we are looking for is a Biafra outrightly from Nigeria. That is why when we are under bridge, the Biafra Republic, the Biafra government in exile, Biafra Republic government in exile, when we use this registered entity to make this peaceful declaration of what? A nation called United States of Biafra. Now that we have made this presentation, or we have made this peaceful declaration, and now that this peaceful declaration is what the world used to count, that this only road for a new nation to emerge in this 21st century. Now that you have listened to this, do you heard about that you must stand on a group, that the group and the protest will give you a new nation? Do you ever hear from here or heard from here that a peaceful protest under IPOB organization will give you Biafra as a country? The answer is no. What gives you Biafra as a nation is what? The peaceful declaration of this number one most important law for the 21st century. Remember that the 21st century started from 2001, is going to end in 2100. These are 21st century medal. And in this 21st century, the world will come and give us an existing law, existing criteria, and what will we do for us to achieve Biafra as our own country? If the world has been able to introduce what we need to do for us to achieve Biafra as our own nation, is it not on the very important note that we all accepted it and follow through that way that UN, EU, AU adopted. Why do you have to adopt that? Because they are the one that are giving this recognition. The recognition of a new country is not coming from any Igbo man. It's not coming from any IPOB member. It's not coming from any other person. And you can see that the way that the world sees this peaceful declaration and the way the world understands having a new country is quite different on what we think and how we look at it that we should achieve Biafra. Now the world has their own way, because no matter what you think, no matter how you see it, it lies in their hand. That's why I told you there is a criteria or there is a protocol for a child to pass out in a class or finish a school. Is it not true? This child you must get this child all the textbook. What of the one they use for home assignment? You guys approve it. You guys to get for this child. There is a test in a class before examination. The child must take this exam. There is a final exam in a class. In this final exam, to prove that this your son or your daughter passed or failed, they will bring the home assignment. They will bring the class test, and they will bring the general exam, and they now pronounce the results. These three things I counted for you here is what gives your son or your daughter who went to school a certificate to come back home and present to you. What do you do as a father? You follow existing protocol of that school. You follow the rules and guidelines of that school before you can be able to have a certificate today. If you are a lawyer today, if you are a barrister, there is existing protocol you undergo before you be able to graduate and becomes a lawyer today. If you are a professor, there is a book, there are history books you read before you become the professor. You did not just come out and announce, I am a professor. You did not get a professor through a protest. No. You get a professor through a hard reading, a hard research, a hard passing all your textbook, all your assignments, class tests, homework, and all of them. And you read your textbook. The textbook of we are going to read in this 21st century for us to pass this general exam is the UN, EU, and AU laws, and which is what USB has already read out and understand it and went into a peaceful declaration. Remember, Simon Ebanjoko once said that once Biafra is redeclared, that he should not throw one short bullet to Nigeria, that Nigeria must exit in a due time. True or false? He said it, and we all are listening to it. Today, your problem is showcasing military that the world or military liberation army start calling. We want self-referendum. You are nobody in this 21st century to call it, and the world is not going to listen to you either. The thing is very simple. It's not simple because you refuse to accept the truth. But when you accepted the truth, it's gonna be so simple, very easy. That is why I can stand up here and tell you that this new law of having a new country, this 21st century law, is very peaceful. It's very easy way. It is a time that all the well-meaning Biafrans need to understand that what we are looking, that there is another easy way to accept it. The one thing I want to tell us here is this. There is no amount of name of IPOB. There is no amount of name of protest. There is no amount of 1 million march that will give us Biafra as a country. Take it or you leave it. But this is a pure fact. This is a truth. I am here with a little capacity to prove to you what it is, what it takes for you to have a new country after our peaceful declaration of the United States of Biafra that give the world the leverage to talk about Biafra in this 21st century. Be thinking, why did you born a child and give that child a name and stand continuously calling that child that particular name? The name you give to the world is the name they're going to call you. And the word said, you must be acting like a state as a new nation before the occasion will come in. You are not going to fold your hand until the occasion come before you prove that you are a country. No. Listen once again. Network. Let's listen again.
In the 21st century legal landscape, the difference between these two groups is the difference between a rebellious faction and a state in waiting. International bodies, the UN, AU, EU, and foreign courts look for specific markers of legitimacy. Here is how they distinguish between your two scenarios. 1. Agitation without peaceful declaration. This group is often viewed as a social protest movement, or, in harsher legal terms, an insurgent group. The legal void. Without a formal peaceful declaration, the international community has no written guarantee of what the group intends to do if they win. Will they respect human rights? Will they follow international treaties? The labeling risk. Because agitation can easily be provoked into violence, governments find it very easy to label these groups as terrorist organizations or internal security threats. International view. They are seen as a domestic police matter. Other countries are usually hesitant to intervene because there is no clear legal person to talk to. 2. Civil disobedience, plus sit at home, plus peaceful declaration. This group is following the Kosovo or South Sudan model, which is the gold standard for 21st century self-determination. The power of the sit at home. In international law, this is called demonstrated effectiveness. By getting millions of people to stay home, the group proves to the world that they, not the central government, control the will of the people. It is a non-violent show of force. The peaceful declaration. This is a legal contract. By issuing this, the group officially enters the international stage. They are saying, asterisk, we are not just protesters, we are a government. We promise to follow the UN Charter. The defense of civil disobedience. Because the group is peaceful and disobedient, rather than violent and agitating, they gain the moral high ground. If the central government uses force against a sit-at-home, the international community views it as a crime against humanity, rather than a clash with protesters. Comparison. The legal standing. Feature. Agitation only. Civil disobedience. Plus declaration. Legal personality. None. Seen as the mob. Emerging state actor. Main defense. Free speech. Weak. Right to self-determination. Strong. Foreign support. Unlikely. Too risky. Possible. Diplomatic recognition. Outcome. Arrest/dispersal. Referendum/mediation. Why the Declaration is the 21st century shield. In the 20th century, groups used guns to get attention. In the 21st century, groups use law and media. When a group makes a peaceful declaration, they move their struggle from the streets to the courtroom. They can hire international lawyers, lobby the US Congress, and file cases at the African Court on Human and People's Rights. Important note, a group that does agitation without a declaration is essentially fighting a boxing match with their hands tied. A group with a peaceful declaration and a history of civil disobedience is inviting the world to be the referee. Would you like me to look up the criteria for statehood under the Montevideo Convention to see how a peaceful declaration helps meet those requirements?
I hope you are paying attention and you are listening. Because what we are into right now is a high time we tell ourselves the truth. There is something that the world are looking up to. There is how the world look at having a new country. There is how the world view everything that we are doing at this stage. It's not how you, it's not what you think and how you want it. No. Because one thing that understand is this: nobody will change the law because of we are fighting for a new country. And fighting a new country can be delayed, but not to be denied. I also want us to understand it clear that this is the first time. This is second time that we are getting it right. The first right we got was through Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, because in 1967 to 1970, the world still believed in armed struggle. But have you asked yourself, why did Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu armed struggle that every other countries like Ethiopia? I'm going to mention countries that fought the same line, the same 1960s that we fought our own, or even those after 1960s that begin to do their own. In this 1967, we are fighting for Biafra as a country. Ethiopia was fighting for their own. They have government in exile based in UK. Today, Ethiopia is a country. They fought against Britain. Algeria was also fighting. They fight from 1954 to 1962. They have their own country. What of Angola, 1967 to 1975? What of Guinea-Bissau, 1973? What of Mozambique, 1975? What of Namibia, 1990? What of Zimbabwe, 1980? What of etc. that have fought their way out through Ethiopia, 1993? Do you see all these countries in the past? Do all not failed? When they run into exile, they continue their movement that makes them to run away from their country. If at all, that when Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu run away from Nigeria, run to Ivory Coast, that he continued, by now, me and you will not be here, and all these groups that are disgracing themselves cannot continue coming out. It's only because of Chukwuemeka Odumegwu never continued when he was in exile, championing Biafra to seek more recognition. And it could have very easy for him. But the bad advisors, Nnamdi Azikiwe, the first prominent man that betrayed Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, that betrayed Biafra. Today, have you come to a lineage that answers Nnamdi Azikiwe? Tell me. Because Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu used lay curse on him. Tell me, I stand to be corrected. Have you come across of any family answering Nnamdi Azikiwe? I want to know. Does it mean that he never married? Does it mean that he never had a child? But cost was laid upon him and his family and all his family household. There is more things that you need to know. All these countries I mentioned now, all of them was in exile when they are fighting for their new country. They try to do it in the ground of Africa where they are fighting for. What happens? Those that are under Spain colonial run to UK. Those that under colonial UK fighting against run to France. Some run to Netherlands. Some run to Spain. Some run to other countries in Africa. This is how the movement happens all around. That is why you have more exile governments in Africa, more than any other countries more than Europe and Asia in the world. This is areas that our people need to understand at this 21st century. These are the areas that we must know. What are those things that needed our attention to know? This is now, the attention should move totally. These 21st century laws that has made a way how we as the people of Biafra can achieve Biafra in a full as a country. If you know that you want Biafra as a country, not that you see Biafra as an avenue to make money in your life. If not for you to see Biafra as an avenue to make money in your life, that is why you don't believe in a peaceful declaration. Even now, the world has moved towards that. And it has been done because how do I say so? In the history of all the exile government in the world, out of 75, USB is among them. Go to my WhatsApp forum, you find out in the world there what we are posting there. We have posted 75 exile government. We shifted it and checked Africa. Africa has 9 exile governments. Not only USB is the exile government in the world. And in that exile government is United States of Biafra, is one who the world put as the real government in exile. Because of what? The document of the peaceful declaration. Or any other thing that you are seeing, that you are contributing your money, that you are putting your money into, you are just wasting the money and just being naive. And let me tell you, an ignorant is not an excuse in the eyes of the law. Take it or you leave it. But this is a pure truth. I want to let you know. This is a truth. This is a pure truth that we all must know. In this 21st century legal landscape, to escape from that is why they use that word. In this 21st century legal landscape means to escape from Nigeria, for us to have our own country in this 21st century. The word says the difference between these two groups is the difference between a rebel function and a state in waiting. A peaceful declaration see as a state in a peaceful declaration see as a rebel group functioning. When you are in a rebel group, how do the world see you? And how the world treat a rebel group is the question has to ask. And how the world treat a state in waiting? They call it what? A new nation in waiting. After a peaceful declaration. This is not how I feel. This is not what I think. But this is how those that out there, you that are calling Donald Trump to come. Donald Trump will not come without the support without the vision of the UN and all these bodies, because he still believes in them. They are the existing law that controls all the entire world today. Please, I urge you to like and share, to bring more people to join us. That is my humble that is my humble apology to you. Please like the program. Let it go viral. Once you like, you are inviting someone else. Once you share, you invite someone else. That is why we are always said, like the program, share the program. Okay, if you think that what I'm doing, what to it. If it's not good to be shared, leave it there. Now, international bodies like the UN, AU, EU, and the foreign court look for specific mark of legitimacy. Here is how this distinguish between these two groups. Now, let us into these two groups. One has been agitating for so long, no peaceful declaration, and the one that's used sit at home, peaceful disobedience, and to make a declaration. Which one that the world will see as the authentic one, and which one are they going to give their shield, and which one have a shield already that has power that protected all of them? Bishop Onaga, thank you so much. James, thank you so much. Please, as you join, I urge you to like and share the program, please. It is very important. I know that many of us don't like it because of we are not discussing about Adade Oram. We are not discussing Eggman. If you are discussing Eggman or Oram, people will fool. Traffic will be here. No. I want people that even if it is one person who understands it and who can use it to defend himself anywhere he is, that was the most important thing for me. Not the number that like the program, but I will say like because of when you like, it's going viral. Now, the issue is this. Number one, agitation without peaceful declaration is number one. Agitation without peaceful declaration. Listen how the world see this. This group is often viewed as a social protest movement. Agitation of IPOB without a peaceful declaration. This group is often viewed as a social protest movement, or in a harsh legal terms, an insurgent or insurgents group. This is how it was being viewed. Let us continue. The legal viewed. Without a formal peaceful declaration, the international community has no right to grant what the group wants. They don't even know what they intend to do if they win. Why the UN, AU, EU respect human rights? We dare follow international treaties if we, however, recognize them. They don't know. Now, on this is issue of the peaceful of agitation of IPOB without this peaceful declaration. This is how the world will see it. Number one, the world will see it as what? A social protest movement, or in a harsh legal terms, an insurgent or rebel group. This is how the world see all the protests of IPOB for maximum 12 years, from 2014 to 2026. These are just how it is. This is how the world will see it. I also want you to look at it the other way around. Without a formal declaration, the international community has no right to grant a help because they don't know what detention is all about. Okay, if we say that they have win under humanitarian, under self-determination law, who are we going to hold hand that they're going to prove to us that they are maintaining a peace? Why they cannot be able to make a peaceful declaration? The declaration is the only easy access way to have a new nation. A declaration is the most easiest. They call it a soft way to have a new nation. Now that this declaration has been done, now that this declaration has been made, what is that still holding you that you refusing to accept this peaceful declaration as the only option? If you really want Biafra as a country, then I ask you, do you even want Biafra as a country in the first place? If it is, what are the criteria to have Biafra as a nation? What are the criteria to have Biafra as a nation? In the old, it's only through military battlefield. That is how you have it as a nation. When Ojukwu fell, what happened? Biafra fails. But in this 21st century, for this not to fail, not after 2 weeks of giving recognition, call you a country, internal problem and chaos will make you to lose it again. The world said, go into peaceful declaration, use a diplomatic approach, use a legal approach, use a media war, use all these things to present yourself in the world that you have met this criteria, then the world will listen to you. That the world will do what? Listen to you. Remember what we are doing here and being to understand it clearly. The legible risk, because agitation can easily be provoked into a violence. Now, when we are in the homeland, I myself joined Biafra movement through Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. When we left Masob, what happened? We started on a peaceful protest, and Nigeria government provoked that peaceful protest by shooting and harassing our people. Is it not true? It has now become what? The world will now look at who is these people that are shooting people in Emela? Who is this military that are shooting people in Obibo? Who is these people that are shooting people in O? The world will not look at it because there we said that your movement is a internal movement of Nigeria, that Nigeria are treating their internal matter. They do not have right to intervene into the matter. Now, look at it this way. Let's go into, because agitation can easily be provoked into a violence today. In what they are counting for us, that the Biafra movement is violence, and who make it to be who provoke it is Nigerian government. Today, because of that the Nigerian government are the one provoke it, and because of the world view territorial integrity as what they must represent. That is why they will tell you that this your protest of shouting Biafra, of this is an without a peaceful declaration. A peaceful declaration come in terms of line of self-determination under external, no longer internal. They call it under one Nigeria. That's what you are fighting for. What you are protesting for is to give you a position in Nigeria. And the matter ends there. But when you make a peaceful declaration, they now put you on the criteria of external remedial secession. Now, when they tag you on this, when you make a peaceful declaration, now they will now say that this peaceful declaration proves that waiting. Listen to what I want to read out to you. In this 21st century legal landscape, for us to move away from Nigeria, the difference between these two groups are agitation group without declaration is a rebel group. Agitation with a peaceful declaration is a state, a nation in waiting. Agitation with peaceful declaration is what? A nation in waiting. Do you see how the game is being changing? Do you see where you are? Do you see to move forward? So the world can easily have right to intervene into your matter, because a peaceful declaration under the UN is all about inviting people to hear that you are no longer under one Nigeria, rather you have become a nation by that peaceful declaration, because they said you must call yourself a nation before other countries will see you as a nation. You must act as a government that has a structure of a government of a new nation before the world can recognize you. And that is what the standard, where only USB is as of this stage. When you fall back to BGC, you want to start afresh. Start contributing money. Try to form a one thing. Try to move to this. And that level you are moving is like, common example, when you went for a walk, and when you come back home, there is already cooking food, and you said, no, my daughter who is my enemy, my wife who is my enemy, cook this soup. I shall not eat. Okay, I have to remove my working clothes and now write the things I have to go into market to bought to start afresh, and they cook the new soup. Why there was already existing new soup in the house? Am I not the one suffering myself? Why that I was the one who give money in the first place to cook the new soup, to cook the soup? If I don't eat the money, the soup, I eat it because of what? It's my money. You have been contributing from time immemorial, from IPOB, from Masob to IPOB. From IPOB, you agreed to pilot, we are contributing. We move into Biafra Republic government in exile. The Biafra Republic government is the one that make a peaceful declaration that the world are asking for, that the world are demanding for us to be a nation. That with this peaceful declaration, that we are a state in waiting, we are a nation already. Acting, no matter how any other person sees it or how another person see it. That's why I'm telling you that the Biafra recognition, or after their declaration, whatever you are doing does not. What matters is that you are not the one that's giving this recognition. And the other side, what matters again is that those that are given recognition have given a criteria, what we have to go through for us to become a nation. They say that we must stand from a declaration first, a peaceful declaration. Whether if it is through peaceful disobedience of sits at home and all the rest. And the world also value a peaceful disobedience sit at home more than the protest. So now that USB in question have met all these criteria, and the USB is working and moving towards that, what is your problem? What are you still waiting for? Okay, you want to continue after you have spent money to give your family to cook a new soup. When you come back, because of you had your enemy cook the soup, and you said no, you want to start a fresh one. That is what all of you who fall back to BDC are doing. That is what all of you who still remain in IPOB from day one. EOB without this peaceful declaration is just a mere social political movement. This is how UN addresses it. And they address you in a harsh word. They say that this is an insurgency group. Is it what you want for yourself? If it is, do yourself more harm than good. But for me, I want USB re-declared to stand on the distinct protocol of the world for me to go home quickly. Now, we go back from where we stop. Remember, the legible risk of only protests. Remember, we are on the headline says, agitation without peaceful declaration is the headline that we are into. In the bracket, listen. The legible risk, because agitation can easily be provoked into violence. That is what happened today. Nigerian government provoke our agitation when we are on the ground. It's turned into violence. Take it or you leave it. Because I was there on the ground before I left. Government find it very easy to label this group terrorist. Government find it very easy to label this group terrorist. That is why Nigeria label IPOB a terrorist group. Because of lack of no declaration. Now, organization or an internal security threat. They see this organization as what? As an internal security threat. Remember, internal security threat is how they see it. That is why the government have the effrontery with all the Southeast governors to declare that IPOB is a terrorist group. How does it happen? He said the risk of agitation without a peaceful declaration is what we are treating. The risk. Because agitation can easily be provoked into a violence. Now, government find it very easy to label this group terrorist or insurgency or rebel. Organization or internal security threats in the movement. I hope you're hearing it. International view, international eyes, the way they see it on their own view is about what? They are seen as a domestic police matter. They see you have our protests and the order we are passing through under IPOB of Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, not under IPOB of Uche Chukwu by Rising Sun, not under IPOB of DOS, not under IPOB of Kanu Takano and the Master Prophet. These are the things that are happening here. These, they are seen as a domestic police matter. Countries are usually hesitate to intervene into the matter. Now I may ask you, after all these years of peaceful declaration, writing to EU, writing to ICC, writing to AU, writing to all these organizations, they don't have right to come and talk because it still remains under the private or internal matter of one Nigeria. What is that thing that will remove it from an internal matter of Nigeria? Is a peaceful declaration with your government in exile. Take it or you leave it. You had it here. They said they're seen as a domestic police matter. Other countries are usually hesitate never to intervene into a personal matter because there is no clear legal person to talk to. When you are they said in the protest of IPOB, no one at the world has never talked about us after all these long years of this movement. And what happened? They said that there is nobody to talk about, even though Mazin Nnamdi Kanu that is in the protest. What happened? The world says no, that they have been labeled terrorists, that is personal matter of Nigeria. For how long do you want to continue being an IPOB that was seen as an internal matter of Nigeria? Some time ago, I presented to you here that they see your protest without declaration as that you want a position in Nigeria that is a matter that only Nigeria can solve. I have done that program in the past. And it's still on if you go to our YouTube page, you will find it. What is your problem? Why are you not understanding the truth? Why are you not seeing things the way it is? Why are you not view things the way the world are viewing? You look at it in the view of the international community. That they see you as a what? A terrorist, rebel, and insurgency. Is it what you want for yourself? Is it how you valued yourself? Is it the only thing you want? Before we continue into number 2, remember the headline we finish up now is number 1. What is that? Number 1 is agitation without peaceful declaration. Listen, this group is often viewed as a social protest movement, or in a harsh legal terms, in an insurgency group, terrorists, and the rebel. This is how the world view any protest without a peaceful declaration in this 21st century. The legal viewed, without a formal peaceful declaration, the international community has no right to grant or with this group intent to, even though if they win, will they respect human rights? Will they follow international treaties without a government? The legal risk, because agitation can easily be provoked into a violence. Governments find it very easy to label the groups as a terrorist, rebel, and insurgency. Can easily be provoked, and they will label us what? Is it not what Nigeria labeled on the IPOB? Is it not? That it is what it is. You can't change the truth. Now, listen. Organizations or internal security threats. International view. They are seen as a domestic police matter. Other countries are usually hesitate to intervene because there is no legal person to talk to. This is how UN see it. These are paragraph 1. Now, we are going on paragraph 2. Civil disobedience plus sit at home plus peaceful declaration plus agitation. How many words? Civil disobedience plus sit at home plus peaceful declaration plus agitation. Let us how the world view it, because it's very, very important at this stage. But before we go in, we must commend those on the comment section. So we want to greet all of you. I see your godmother here. I see Divine. Thank you so much. I see Nekumpa on Odogwe Nubu. Thank you so much for being here. Please just help me hit the like button. Share and like the program, please. Now, where we are is where. Look at what I'm reading here. You can see it here. Look at it. Look at it here. Civil disobedient plus sit at home plus peaceful declaration. This group, how did the world see this? Listen to this. You that sit at home as a crime, you never know that the world will see your protest as a crime. But the world did not sit at home as a crime. They did not see peaceful disobedience as a crime. They did not see peaceful declaration as a crime. But only that your agitation and protest, the world has seen it as a crime in this 21st century. Just continue.
In the 21st century legal landscape, the difference between these two groups is the difference between a rebellious faction and a state in waiting. International bodies, the UN, AU, EU, and foreign courts look for specific markers of legitimacy. Here is how they distinguish between your two scenarios. 1. Agitation without peaceful declaration. This group is often viewed as a social protest movement, or, in harsher legal terms, an insurgent group. The legal void. Without a formal peaceful declaration, the international community has no written guarantee of what the group intends to do if they win. Will they respect human rights? Will they follow international treaties? The labeling risk. Because agitation can easily be provoked into violence, governments find it very easy to label these groups as terrorist organizations or internal security threats. International view. They are seen as a domestic police matter. Other countries are usually hesitant to intervene because there is no clear legal person to talk to. 2. Civil disobedience, plus sit at home, plus peaceful declaration. This group is following the Kosovo or South Sudan model, which is the gold standard for 21st century self-determination. The power of the sit at home. In internet.
I hope you're listening. Number two, civil disobedient plus sit at home plus peaceful declaration. That is number 2. This group is following the Kosovo or South Sudan model, which is the gold standard for 21st century. USB re-declared is following the existing protocol, and they said that this protocol that USB is following on this legal aspect of 21st century is a gold. A peaceful declaration law is a goal of having a new nation. That is why they call it a nation in waiting. A peaceful declaration. Disobedience. Sit at home that we are doing. The world welcome it. That is the one they hold hand on it and they look at it, they said what? This group is following the Kosovo or South Sudan model, which is the gold standard for 21st century self-determination. Do you see how the world is changing? Do you see the way the world is changing, expanding in a better atmosphere that will favor you and I, and you refuse to do that? You want to remain on a group that will tag the world will see as rebel. It's not only Nigeria see this organization as terrorist group. UN, EU, AU also see it as a terrorist group. It's not about USB. It's not about me. It's no longer about what you think, how you feel, and what you want. It's not. It's no longer about Chiamaka Ajere. It's not about Atade Orama. It's not about Oge Nkele, what they want. It is about what the world wants and how the world will see it. That is why we can be openly attack UN at all time, EU and the UN. Call all these countries their names and tell them, we have met this criteria. Give us Biafra, recognize us. You are not giving us Biafra. We have given ourselves Biafra because freedom is in our hand to take it. Freedom is not being given. We have taken the one we have to take by standing up, make our peaceful declaration. That is our own case. Then the one left is like when you have a child sent to school, the child reads textbook, he will pass, he will do home assignment, he will do class at doing all this. Can this child mark his result and give himself a position? The answer is hell no. The answer is no. So we have done our part by a peaceful declaration. So we are waiting for them to mark as the teachers, UN, EU, AU. They are the teacher who will mark the result and pronounce the exam, our result out, print it out. Can your son take an exam and mark it and bring it back to you? We are in school at this stage. We are in the school of the UN. We are in the school of the EU. We are in the school of AU. These are the school we are into. So we must write the exams. And look at the exams here. Look at the exams here. The exam is not protest. The exam is what? Civil disobedient plus sit at home plus peaceful declaration. A peaceful declaration in this 21st century. This is what the world, this is how they view a new country. Not agitation, not a protest. Do you see that the world values civil disobedience? The world knows about it at home. The world knows about peaceful declaration, the only last option for you to have a new nation. What do you really want? Do you think IPOB is giving is going to make Biafra as a country? Do you think that when we are in government in exile, Biafra government in exile, ask yourself, why did Simon Ekpa said, until we make a peaceful declaration, until we make this declaration in Helsinki, Finland, that if we never make this declaration, we are just making on social media. Look at it here in the number one. With the protest, you are making noise. With the protest, you can be tagged rebel, you can be tagged terrorist, you can be tagged insurgency. It's not what the word said. It's not what they told us how they will treat us. When we come on section 2, when we find out how the world is treating those that make people declaration, you will be ashamed of yourself. If you want to tell yourself that one Biafra is a country, the only time that we have got it right is only time of this our peaceful declaration. Go and check, go and verify. We continue. The power of sit at home under the UN charters. In international law, this is called democracy effectiveness. Demonstrated effectiveness. You are demonstrating that you are very, very effective. That is what Otongozo Rabeze and the cabinet of USB are doing. That is why in Africa we are number one out of the 9 exile governments. On the digital level of this new movement that we are into, USB is clamping number 1 in Africa out of 8 exile government. There are 9 exile government. Now, the USB right now, whether you like it or not, we are the one topping Amazonia. USB is topping Amazonia after our peaceful declaration. So to not stop being deceived. Stop confusing yourself. Stop hating Ngozi Orebeze that she is your savior. Now, let's continue. By getting millions of people to stay home, the group proved to the world that they are not the central government controlling the will of their people. By that, we want to prove to the world, we are proving to the world that the Nigerian government is not the one controlling our people to sit at home. That Soludo is not controlling the indigenous people of Odimegbu, the indigenous people of Omambala, the indigenous people of Ikemba. By this peaceful declaration, by this peaceful sit at home that we are doing, the world will see it as what? As another referendum. They did not see protest as a referendum. Protest is not a referendum. Sit at home is a referendum. You don't know about that. That is why the way of international community are not the same way with us. It's not the same way with us. By doing this, you are proving that Nigeria is not controlling you, that you are tired of Nigeria. That is why you choose your country called United States of Biafra. We are declared. I told you, remember our code in this platform. Nobody has done that today. I don't think if anybody has done our code, I am a citizen of United States of Biafra. I am a citizen of United States of Biafra. This is exactly what it is. This is what it simply means. The movement is no longer what I think. It's no longer how I feel. It's no longer, we're supposed to do it in this way. The movement has passed that level. That is why it is important in this state that we are into that we follow the template of the world, the template of the UN, template of EU, template of AU, template of Commonwealth, template of America, template of Israel. This is what we follow that will give us Biafra, that will give us recognition we are seeking for. Biafra is a nation. lacking one thing: international recognition from any very hefty world in the world. That is all we are looking for. Any hefty country that will give recognition. That is all we are looking for. So I don't really know what else you want. We have taken it by power. We have taken our country by force from the hands of the enemies. Do you know it very? Do you understand it clearly? That is why you must pay attention. That is why you must listen. That is why you must continuously adopting and standing on the side of this peaceful declaration by government in exile of USB that use the name Bridge Biafra government in exile to make a declaration of United States of Biafra like every other countries in the world. We continue. The peaceful declaration. This is a legal contact. A peaceful declaration is a legal contact. Ndị manye si na mkpegbu ka ntigbu n'okwu Igbo. Mma kpegburu ya. Yes, akwụọrụ ya aka mana o tigbuo ya ọgba ọsọ ọchụ. O tigbuo ya omegịnị ọgba ọsọ ọchụ mana o kpegbuo ya akwụọrụ ya aka. So Ngozi Ọnabeze on the side of peaceful declaration ekpegbuole ma IPOB. Kpegbuo ma BGC, kpegbuo ma CRC, kpegbuo ma fake fallback bridge, kpegbukwuo ma SOB because of what? A peaceful declaration with a government in exile. This is why Ojukwu fell. Because Ojukwu could have continued championing Biafra when he ran into exile in Ivory Coast. Ojukwu could have, if Ojukwu could have continued like people of Ethiopia, like people of Angola, people of Algeria, people of Guinea-Bissau, people of Mozambique, people of Namibia, people of Zimbabwe and Eritrea. These countries that they run away from the existing country, they run into exile. They continue what they are preaching for when they exit. When Ethiopia run into UK because of what? Because of Spanish that colonized Ethiopia, they run into UK. Their government stand there, build up Ethiopia as a country that are hearing today. And they chased away Spain. This is what happened in the past. Some that's been created by some countries that are being marginalized or being under pressure of who? Of Portugal. Some those that Portugal colonized, they run into France. Some run into some African countries to stand up. We failed. Biafra failed because of one thing. Ojukwu did not continue when he exited Nigeria, run to Ivory Coast. If he continued, believe you me, Biafra could have started today because that exile could have given him more power to do more on the international global community. Did Ivory Coast not recognize Biafra as a country? They did. That is where he could have stand there. But I don't know what happened. This is only why Chukwuemeka fail not to continue in exile to stand. And that is why when he realized it is when he come back to Nigeria. In his old age, he said that Biafra will come from diaspora. Biafra will come from exile. Biafra will come from diaspora. That is what of Ojukwu. And today you are in diaspora. And there is a 21st century law. You refuse to adhere towards that. Do you also know that only having Biafran ID card, 10,000, give automatic recognition from the UN? Do you know that? Why are you still delaying? Why are you delaying? Why are you delaying this movement? Why you don't want to accept? Because you want money. You will achieve this money through a job that the government of Biafra will provide in Biafra land. You will achieve. What do you really want? What do in where everything is in the open and you are ignorant is not an excuse in the eyes of the law. I'm telling you because I want you to understand it clearly. By issuing this peaceful declaration, the group officially entering the international stage. By issuing the peaceful declaration, you are entering in the eyes, in the mouth of international global stage. That is why Israel can talk about Biafra right now, because of a peaceful declaration. That is why all the countries that are putting their mouth recognizing our ID card because of what? A peaceful declaration can allows you to enter. Look at it. This group officially entering the international stage, a peaceful declaration. They are saying we are not just Protestants. Protestants, they will say we are not just a Protestant, but we are a government. We promise to follow. Are you hearing it? This is how the world put a criteria of a new nation. It's not you that is putting it, because you can't eat your cake and have it back. The defense of civil disobedience. Civil disobedience. Because this group is a peaceful and disobedient. Because this group is peaceful and disobedient. Sitting at home, peaceful way. No gun, no bullet. Except the government is trying to come out. The government is killing our people every blessed day. Because this group is peaceful and disobedient. Rather than the violence and the agitation group. Rather than the violence and the agitation group and the protesters group. Are you hearing it? You IPOB, ask yourself questions. You are doing one thing from 2014 to 2026, how many years? And what result do you want? The world closes their eyes, refuse to talk, because your action proving that you remain under one Nigeria to solve your problems, which is they call it an internal affair of Nigeria, police internal affair of Nigeria. When police buy our people, they will say that it's an internal affair of a country. They don't have right to intervene. But with a peaceful declaration, the world has right to intervene. That is it. This is how it goes. That's why I always ask you, what do you really want? We continue. They gain moral higher ground. USB is gaining more higher moral ground on the international global stage, not in your own eyes, because of na only because of you cannot like to praise her, but the USB has been overtaking everything. Overtake is allowed. A peaceful declaration is a way to overtake all the agitation group, and USB has done that. Stop giving this inconsequentials your money, because there is nothing they can do. The truth is very bitter, and I am here to give you this truth, Basbosa, in how you want it. The truth must be told. We continue. If the central government use force against it at home, the international community view it as a crime against humanitarian, rather than a clash with a protestants. Now, on the issue of sit at home by government order, and you're sitting at home, or you're doing peaceful sit at home, and the government is trying to intervene like what Rudo is doing, the world are looking, the world are watching. What Rudo did on Monday, this week, he will pay for it in due time. Remember, destiny can be delayed but cannot be denied. This issue of things can come out, but not the way you want it as a human being. And as you are listening, you can see that the word organized sits at home so much. More than they said, we have viewed and organized a group that has made a peaceful declaration rather than the clash with a protestants and agitation. Agitation is no-go area, but with peaceful declaration, we have our new nation in this 21st century. Which one is the best? Is it not having it in this 21st century? Is it not having it in this 21st century with the way that the law guides us? And they said, with this 21st century law, nobody will arrest any of the leaders or take us away from our people anymore. Comparison.
Law, this is called demonstrated effectiveness. By getting millions of people to stay home, the group proves to the world that they, not the central government, control the will of the people. It is a non-violent show of force. The peaceful declaration, this is a legal contract. By issuing this, the group officially enters the international stage. They are saying, *, we're not just protesters, we're a government. We promise to follow the UN Charter, the defense of civil disobedience. Because the group is peaceful and disobedient rather than violent and agitating, they gain the moral high ground. If the central government uses force against a sit at home, the international community views it as a crime against humanity rather than a protesters. Comparison. The legal standing.
Listen,
Feature. Agitation only. Civil disobedience plus declaration. Legal personality. None. Seen as the mob. Emerging state actor.
on the legal personality of a Protestant, the word said what? Legal possibility, personalities, none, seen as a mob, rebel, insurgency, terror. That is how the world will see it. Then, on the side of the civil disobedient plus peaceful declaration, the world will see it as engagement state actors, engaging the state actors. You become a state actor by a peaceful declaration, a nation in waiting.
Main defense. Free speech, weak. Right to self-determination, strong.
Are you hearing it? This is for the future purposes of how they see it. Main defense, free speech, weak. Nobody understand you, nobody take you serious. Now, on the other side, on the civil disobedience and plus the peaceful declaration, it becomes right to a peaceful declaration, make a right of self-determination to become a very strong in the eyes of the international global community.
Foreign support, unlikely, too risky. Possible.
Foreign support, no. Unlikely, too much risk to support a Protestant group, agitation group. Agitation organization, the world said, no, we can't support them. It's a risk. Now listen to the one of civil disobedience with peaceful declaration with government in exile. Listen.
Diplomatic recognition.
Are you hearing it? After the civil disobedient and the peaceful declaration, what do you get? You get possible diplomatic and what? Recognition. That is why I stand on this one and let me take you away a little bit on the journey. Remember Finland that are holding our prime minister today. When Finland make their peaceful declaration, those that never wanted to be a country who was agitating against the peaceful declaration, what happened? When the war intervened, they went to those that make a peaceful declaration, support them. When the Western Union entered, they support the white Finland that made the peaceful declaration. It happens in America. The over 548 Americans voted that they never want America as a country. 56 continental congressmen stood up and signed it that America should be a country. When Morocco come to recognize America, they went to the 56 men that make declaration, signed that America should be a country. When France come, France supported those that make a peaceful declaration. So this issue of declaration of a new nation did not see us start, and they can never see us an end in this 21st century. And the legal movement of it is what USB stand on. What else do you want? What do you really want? You want to use the making money. The time has gone. The time has gone. Now is only Biafra as a nation is what we stand on it. After our peaceful declaration, and you can see through the criteria of the international global community, of the UN, of the AU, and all of them, USB has met this criteria. That is why we know that we are going home. Support USB. Stop doing iberiberism in social media. Stop wasting money. Civil disobedience and plus peaceful declaration. Possible diplomatic recognition. They ask not the possible. Diplomatic and recognition. That is what USB is lacking here and there. You may do not understand it, but it is going on. It's going on. Let's continue.
Outcome. Arrests/dispersal. Referendum/mediation. Why the
I hope you heard it clearly. The outcome of Protestants, arrest and the disappearance. They will arrest you, all of you will disappear. Then, for a peaceful declaration from a government in exile, referendum and the mandatory that there must be a country through a peaceful referendum to have a new nation organized under the eyes of the UN, EU, and AU, and all the international global community. This is how it goes. It's not what you think. It's what the world think. It's how the world see it. Is what is most important thing. Not how you see, not how you reason, not how remove how you feel and what you think. Forget that name Ngozi Arabeze. It's not Ngozi Arabeze that write all these laws, but she has come and maintained these laws, work towards that. In this all this criteria of having a new nation, you didn't hear military gun. You didn't hear men on ground. You didn't hear Liberation Army. The world has walked away from a Liberation Army. Use a peaceful declaration to put in their position, whether you like it or not. In this 21st century, in the past, a country has achieved recognition without even one military boot on ground. I have given you that as an example. I have made that disposition here in our past broadcast. So if you go down, you will see countries that have used no military, one military boot on ground, they got recognition and they start forming, become a country today. They never disappeared in this surface of the world. That is one thing you must know. Now, why the declaration is the 21st century shield, something that covers USB, something that covers Ngozi Arabeze, why is this thing something that covers her so much? This is what protects her. This is what protects you as a Biafran who believe in our peaceful declaration. And let me tell you, there is no any place you go to do, they will give you asylum unless USB ID card, unless it comes from USB. Go and check. Overtake is allowed. Akpago ndị IPOB, akpago gị ma sọb, BGC akpara gị akpa, fallback bridge akpara gị akpa, pụọ n'ụzọ ka anyị na-aga n'iru na nwere ihe ga-emenwu.
Declaration is the 21st century shield. In the 20th century, groups used guns to get attention. In the 21st century, groups use law and media.
I hope you understand it here. In the 20th centuries, groups use guns to get attention for a new nation then. In the 21st century, group use legal and media. Group use legal and the media. What you are presenting in the social media, is it legal as well as what the world wants? What you gather people open YouTube and discussing, is it exactly the external affair or internal affair? If you are seeing internal affair, you are drawing the hand clock back. You are not moving forward. Take it or you leave it. That is why I'm here to give it where it is, without saying, without compromising word. I am not doing political correctness here. I tell the truth how it is. If you want to come, do not come. But I must dish this out. Those who will hear, will hear. Those who are not going to hear, are not going to hear. There is no amount of thought you need again someone to come and preach you about Headmaster, Daddy or Rama. I don't know. You know that they're all scammers and liars. So continue listening to them and refuse to understand the importance of declaration and why this declaration is the only remedy we have as the Biafran people in these 21st century laws. Remember, in the 20th centuries, group use gun to get attention. In the 21st centuries, group use law and media. Group use law and what? Media to achieve a new country. Legal and media. That is what they use.
A group makes a peaceful declaration. They move their struggle from the streets to the courtroom. They can hire international lawyers, lobby the US Congress, and file cases at the African Court on Human and People's Rights.
Are you listening? When a group makes a peaceful declaration, they move the struggle from street to the courtroom. They move the struggle from street to the courtroom. They can hire international lawyers, lobby the US congressmen, and file cases at the African Court of Human and People's Rights after a peaceful declaration. When a group makes a peaceful declaration, we are in a group. When we are Biafran Republic in exile, we are a group. You don't know that? We are an organization then. The only time we have moved from organization is after our peaceful declaration of the United States of Biafra. We have come out from organization, we have come out from a group. That's what they told you. That important note. When group makes a peaceful declaration, they move the struggle from the street to the courtroom. They can hire international lobbies to lobby US congressmen and file cases at the African court on human rights and on human and the people's rights. After you have had, what are you still waiting for? This is the bitter truth that nobody could ever tell you this moment that we're into. Where you find the truth are few people. When you find things that will give all this Biafra, few people listen to that platform. There is no much crowd there. Because our people like to hear gossip. Our people like to focus on internal matter. What else do you want to? How do you want your mind to be shown on the USB that everything you heard in another Arama is a lie? Everything heard about Chiamaka Jera is a lie. Everything heard about all this is pure lies. That is what you want us to be talking. Then what about this that the world wants us to use to hit them hard so they can know that we have come? Instead of people to listen to it, they will not. They will not listen to it. They want where they will go, talk how they feel and what they want. That is our method in the COG.
Important note. A group that does agitation without a declaration is essentially fighting a boxing match with their hands tied.
I hope you are listening. Important note, a group of IPOB, of BGC, of MASOB, without a peaceful declaration, with a group, all this group that does agitation without declaration is a external fighting, a Boston match with their hands being tied up. If you are fighting and your hands are being tied, how can you give the blow? You can't give blow. Your opponent will knock you down. That is why UN, EU, AU was knocking issue of Biafra down since all these years, because this protest, the hands was being tied. The UN cannot do anything. EU can't do anything. AU can't do anything. The African woman cannot do anything because of what? You agitation group. And they said that the hands are very tight. Now listen, a group with a peaceful declaration and a history of civil disobedience is inviting the world to be a referee. Make a peaceful declaration. You are using civil disobedience. You are calling for it at home. You are inviting the world to come and listen to know the problems. You're no longer on the hand being tied. These are the truth. These are the things that I want you to understand. These are the things I want you to know. These are where the center of what is our problem is. I tell you that I can see it by myself. That I am a witness to what I am doing today. That's my happiness. This is just my happiness. That I am a witness of what I am doing today. That nobody can stop me from what I'm doing today. When you are listening to the important things, they change your brain. This is not how I feel. This is not what I want. This is not how I see it. It is how the international global community see this movement that we are into. That is what matters most. Not what matters most. Not what I think. Not how I feel. No. Ndị be anyị si na na-ebu ụzọ zọtasịa na wee zọba ute. Ihe ndị ahụ a na-akara dị ọra mma ha na ndị awụ history bụ enwe ihe a na-akpọ how do they call it in the news? This main news and this is the extra news. I know can name extra news. One of the main news we still on doing on extra news. Why the main news is the main news still remain where it is because it's in document. We don't like to read. We like to talk what we know, and this is the way we have to go about it. That is what we care so much about it. We care so much on what we think and how we view it. Yes, I'm going to play it as saying a word before going into the second section, but I will leave my line open in case those are free to, anybody who wants to call can call us on number +97333605337. Only on WhatsApp. The number is +97333605137. In case before you call now, hold on, I want to play it just saying a word, then before you can call.
Group with a peaceful declaration and a history of civil disobedience is inviting the world to be the referee. Would you like me to look up the criteria for statehood under the Montevideo Convention to see how a peaceful declaration helps meet those requirements?
That is the second section of this program today. Let's continue first.
In the 21st century legal landscape, the difference between these two groups is the difference between a rebellious faction and a state in waiting. International bodies, the UN, AU, EU, and foreign courts look for specific markers of legitimacy. Here is how they distinguish between your two scenarios. 1. Agitation without peaceful declaration. This group is often viewed as a social protest movement, or, in harsher legal terms, an insurgent group. The legal void. Without a formal peaceful declaration, the international community has no written guarantee of what the group intends to do if they win. Will they respect human rights? Will they follow international treaties? The labeling risk. Because agitation can easily be provoked into violence, governments find it very easy to label these groups as terrorist organizations or internal security threats. International view. They are seen as a domestic police matter. Other countries are usually hesitant to intervene because there is no clear legal person to talk to. 2. Civil disobedience, plus sit at home, plus peaceful declaration. This group is following the Kosovo or South Sudan model, which is the gold standard for 21st century self-determination. The power of the sit at home. In international law, this is called demonstrated effectiveness. By getting millions of people to stay home, the group proves to the world that they, not the central government, control the will of the people. It is a non-violent show of force. The peaceful declaration. This is a legal contract. By issuing this, the group officially enters the international stage. They are saying, asterisk, we're not just protesters, we're a government. We promise to follow the UN Charter, the defense of civil disobedience. Because the group is peaceful and disobedient, rather than violent and agitating, they gain the moral high ground. If the central government uses force against a sit at home, the international community views it as a crime against humanity, rather than a quote-quote protesters. Comparison. The legal standing. Feature. Agitation only. Civil disobedience. Just declaration. Legal personality. None. Seen as the mob. Emerging state actor. Main defense. Free speech. Weak. Right to self-determination. Strong. Foreign support. Unlikely. Too risky. Possible. Diplomatic recognition. Outcome. Arrest/dispersal. Referendum/mediation. Why the Declaration is the 21st century shield. In the 20th century, groups used guns to get attention. In the 21st century, groups use law and media. When a group makes a peaceful declaration, they move their struggle from the streets to the courtroom. They can hire international lawyers, lobby the US Congress, and file cases at the African Court on Human and People's Rights. Important note. A group that does agitation without a declaration is essentially fighting a boxing match with their hands tied. A group with a peaceful declaration and a history of civil disobedience is inviting the world to be the referee. Would you like me to look up the criteria for statehood under the Montevideo Convention to see how a peaceful declaration helps meet those requirements?
Now, you may understand clearly that we have wasted time for this overlong agitation. But the question I'm asking myself, so if not as Simon become emerge and take this mantle upon himself, so we should continuously doing protest. And what will continue tagging us rebel, insurgency, and terror. That is what the world continues tagging those that are doing agitation. Why a peaceful election is a shield that covers you, that nobody will tag you terrorist. Do you have anybody tagging USB we are declared from any country terrorist except this bribe betrayers group that is calling USB. They're calling us that kind of names. But I want them to understand that Biafran law will judge them in due time. Only peaceful declaration, only in this 21st century is only way to have a new nation. Now that this peaceful declaration that is a legal shield has been done, what else do you want again? What else do you want again? What is that you think that we should do again for us to have Biafra as a country? After our peaceful declaration, I want you to know that there is nothing else except going through this way, because this is the way that UN, EU, and AU introduced to us. Why do I say so? It's like when you have a child that went to sent to school, you will buy textbook for this child. You will buy the one they call home assignment for this child. The child will do the homework. The child will write a test, the class test, before the general examination. Is it not true? You must undergo this 5 process. After that, the child will write after the general examination, the class teacher will come, compile, bring out class test, bring out examination. Then you match these 3 things up together, compare it. Then he now put the result down. Then he will now come out and give you position where you fall. And on that position, that is where they will give you a result you will take home to prove that you went in a school for a year. Is it for a term? Is it not true? So who are these schools of any new country? The teachers, the lecturers, the principals are who? The UN, EU, AU, and Commonwealth. They are America, they are Israel, they are Canada, they are Australia. These are those that will mark this exam and put the result out. Nobody writes exam and mark his examination paper. We are in exam. We are in a class. That is why we have to take the yardstick. That is why we have to take the instruction for us to build Biafra, for us to pass. Nobody mark his exam. Nobody give himself position. That is why we must follow on this line that we are doing. The USB has accepted a peaceful declaration that what give us the legal shield, that nobody can open mouth and call us terrorists again. Nobody can call us insurgency. Nobody can call us rebel. This name has ended because of USB we are declared, whether they like it or not. Because it's not what I think. It's not about my feelings. It's not how I see it. It's how your teacher see your exam. It's how he's going to mark you. Take it or you leave it. These are the areas I want you to be getting in touch in your mind. Please, I urge you to like and share the program, please. If you never like the program, I want to like the program. Like I also said, our line is open for phone call. If you want to call us, you are free to call our number +9733605137. You can ask us a question, depend on what we are doing today. Ask questions about declaration and how is the only last solution. Ask many questions you want, or make a suggestion brief on what we are doing, or how you feel about it. Honestly, we must continue. We must do the needful. We must stand strong. We must remain focused. We must stand on this existing protocol of the UN and EU and AU. That is the only way to have a new country in this 21st century. We are in the era of 21st century. We are no longer in the era of 18th centuries and 20th centuries when only gun is the only way to have a new country. When liberation military has the only option, is no longer in existence. The world has moved away from that. Peaceful declaration and peaceful movement is what the world are looking up to. So which one do you want? Do you want peaceful? I want peaceful. Peaceful, they call peaceful declaration work a soft way to achieve a new country. That is the one I want. That is how I want it to go. We continue, my people. Listen to it again. I want to sink into your mind. That is why I will play for second time before we move into the second session.
In the 21st century legal landscape, the difference between AU, EU, and foreign courts look for specific markers of legitimacy. Here is how they distinguish between your two scenarios. 1. Agitation without peaceful declaration. This group is often viewed as a social protest movement, or, in harsher legal terms, an insurgent group. The legal void. Without a formal peaceful declaration, the international community has no written guarantee of what the group intends to do if they win. Will they respect human rights? Will they follow international treaties? The labeling risk. Because agitation can easily be provoked into violence, governments find it very easy to label these groups as terrorist organizations or internal security threats. International view. They are seen as a domestic police matter. Other countries are usually hesitant to intervene because there is no clear legal person to talk to. 2. Civil disobedience, plus sit at home, plus peaceful declaration. This group is following the Kosovo or South Sudan model, which is the gold standard for 21st century self-determination. The power of the sit at home. In international law, this is called demonstrated effectiveness. By getting millions of people to stay home, the group proves to the world that they, not the central government, control the will of the people. It is a non-violent show of force. The peaceful declaration. This is a legal contract. By issuing this, the group officially enters the international stage. They are saying, asterisk, we're not just protesters, we're a government. We promise to follow the UN Charter. The defense of civil disobedience. Because the group is peaceful and disobedient, rather than violent and agitating, they gain the moral high ground. If the central government uses force against a sit at home, the international community views it as a crime against humanity rather than a protesters. Comparison. The legal standing. Feature. Agitation only. Civil disobedience plus declaration. Legal personality. None. Seen as the mob. Emerging state actor. Main defense. Free speech. Weak. Right to self-determination. Strong. Foreign support. Unlikely. Too risky. Possible. Diplomatic recognition. Outcome. Arrests/dispersal. Referendum/mediation. Why the Declaration is the 21st century shield. In the 20th century, groups used guns to get attention. In the 21st century, groups use law and media. When a group makes a peaceful declaration, they move their struggle from the streets to the courtroom. They can hire international lawyers, lobby the US Congress, and file cases at the African Court on Human and People's Rights. Important note. A group that does agitation without a declaration is essentially fighting a boxing match with their hands tied. A group with a peaceful declaration and a history of civil disobedience is inviting the world to be the referee. Would you like me to look up the criteria for statehood under the Montevideo Convention to see how a peaceful declaration helps meet those requirements?
If you may ask, which one is the easiest way? On the comment section, which one do you choose? Is it a group that is fighting for bossing with a tight hand which cannot throw blow? Or a group with peaceful declaration who is inviting the world to come and talk about our movement, our new nation? I want to know, which one do you choose from the comment section? Which one do you choose? A group that is fighting a boss mash with a hand being tight that cannot give a blow, or a group that is inviting the referees, that is the world, to come and talk about a new country called United States of Biafra were declared November the 29th, 2024. Which one do you want? Can you tell me in the comment section? Like I said, our line, yes, thank you so much, Aganaya, group with the peaceful declaration. Yes, peaceful declaration is the highest group. Those that inviting a referee to decide this match, That's why I told you that it simply means you send a child to school. Can a child mark his examinations and give himself position and announce his results? Who announced the results? The teachers. The teachers we have in this movement are the UN, EU, and the AU. These are the teachers we have in this movement. These are the men to control what we are doing, not we in question. Not we. Because for we don't have what it takes to announce it. But the one that we have what it takes to announce is our peaceful declaration as a nation in waiting. In the 21st century landscaping, how we can escape from Nigeria. The difference between these two groups is that the difference is a group with only agitation view in the eyes of international law as a rebel and insurgency group. A group with a peaceful declaration see as a state, a nation in waiting, or a state in waiting. International law bodies like the UN, EU, AU, and the foreign courts look for a specific mark of legitimacy, which is the only the side of a peaceful declaration government fall into it. There is only people that fall into it. Today, we are letting USB fall on this peaceful declaration law that is existing on this 21st century, the only criteria to achieve a new nation. Agitation without protest, agitation without peaceful declaration. This group is often viewed as a social protestants movement. IPOB organization with the protests here and there. The world will still view you as a social protest movement. For how many years you want to continue answering a protest movement? In a harsh word, they will tag you insurgency, terrorist, and rebel. The legal view of it, without a formal peaceful declaration, remember that word, without a formal peaceful declaration, the international community has no right to help you or to grant you any access. They have no right. They let the legible risk on it, because agitation can easily be provoked into violence. That is the radio Nigeria used for us on this UN charter. They provoke the movement. And look at what happened today. When we are in IPOB, they tag all of us terrorists. Did anybody tag USB and declare terrorist? I'm going to government a major year for. I'm the word about saying by. That is one thing that we all have to understand this 21st century, because our people, our mindsets are. I wonder what is our mindsets have to understand this 21st century, because our people, our mindsets are. I wonder what is our mindset. Honestly, we remain that way we are. The only thing we know is how to attack ourselves, The risk of being a Protestant, because agitation can easily be provoked into a violence government. Governments can find it very easy to label this group terrorist, rebel, and what? A government of Nigeria provoke us on this section of the legal risk of agitation, because agitation can easily be provoked into violence. Government find it very easy to label the group terrorist, rebel, and insurgency. Is it not what we're passing through today in the hands of the so-called IPOB, except that someone come to take us away from those names? Obatobi, Simon, the prime minister, take us away from this. Dr. Ngozi Rebeze accomplished it by making a peaceful declaration. This is how it happens. Do they take the Biafra government in exile? Do they tag them terrorists? The answer is no. They only tag IPOB, the Protestant group. A protest can be merely provoked, and on this section is what Nigeria did. The peaceful protest turned into blood protest, turned into fighting protest all the time. So there's nobody protests again. Why am I playing it? Why am I repeating it for you? For this to sink into your mind, so you will understand it clearly, to know that we have work to do to pressure the UN and the EU, not to pressure the Orama. No, not to pressure Vam. I won't do that. I don't have the time. Seriously, there is more important things to do. And we mother na abia, anyị na-abịa na-eje azọ ute ma ha zọtabana. Radio Orama ha bụ ute. You have already know that whatever we have in Chiamaka Ajere is a pure lie. Our people must change our mindset. We need to change. Please, I urge you to like and share the program. If you never like, please hit the like button, please. Let the message go viral. Now, on this risk of protest, is it what you want? Then, what of this civil disobedient plus sit at home plus peaceful declaration? They said this group following the Kosovo or South Sudan model, which is the gold standard for 21st century self-determination. When something you are doing, the world sees as a gold. You know how the world values gold. This is how the world values a peaceful declaration. The world will see a peaceful declaration as gold. Not what you think, not how you view it, not a USB charger, USB terrorists. You are wasting your time because you're not the world. That you are ignorant cannot stop the USB from moving forward. These are pure truth. This is a pure fact and figure. This is what you're supposed to know. And this is how the world has seen everything that we are doing. I am sorry for you that you're not seeing in this way because you close your eyes, you refuse to listen to the important things and make a decide by yourself and ask questions. From day one. The power of the sit at home is international law. In international law, this is called demonstrating effectiveness. A peaceful declaration truly gives instruction for sit at home. USB maintaining the order of sit at home, proving an effectiveness. That is why the government want to wipe it away. And you agreed by coming and able to come out or want to come and sell market. Thunder will fire all of you who are doing that. By word that they are not there is not by getting millions of people to stay at home, the group proved to the world that they're not the central government controlling the will of the people. It is a non-violent show force. It is a non-violent show force. Sit at home. Peaceful disobedient. The world recommended it. The world sees it as the most easiest way to achieve a new country. It's not what you think and how you see it. You IPOB who continuously condemns at home. This at home is what the world uses as a self-referendum. When we go deep, you understand it. I want to understand it clearly. I want you to look at the important things that give us Biafra. Why you must use your two hands to donate for USB to do all the job. They need money to do this war. There is lobby that is going on. There are things money can do. Money is holding the government because anywhere they're supposed to go. freedom na-ata alụ, ego dị involve, a na-enye mba ụwa ego, a na-alọbi UN, a ga-enye ha something, EU, a ga-enye ha something. Other countries, their congressmen, their leaders in that group need to give one or two things. It's money. And imagine the money you give a white man that will enter his mouth and his eyes. Everything is about politics. Everything is about what? Politics. And this politics is what USB is playing. They understand it clearly. They want to end our soul and our sufferness. Give all you have. Stop going to church and be giving tithes. Give USB your tithe you are offering. You are building a God nation in future. You are building a state. Yeah, we will remember you after our peaceful recognition has done. So give your tithe to stop going to church and giving tithe. Give your tithe to USB become, let it be where you are giving your tithe. Stop being confused. Stop being deceived. Stop all these things that you think that you are doing well. You are not doing well at all. Let us do well. Let us support USB we are declared. Let us focus on our country. Let us focus on the government. Give them what they want. They are giving us what we want if you're really flowing seriously. It is very important. And this is that we are into. It is very, very important. So I urge you, please, to listen to the important things that matter so much. Now I am making it clear to you that it's only USB is the government that the world organized, that the one that make a peaceful declaration. Out of all these fall back, a fall in, a fall out, did any of them make peaceful declaration? The answer is no. It's only USB. Make a peaceful declaration. On the mandate of peaceful declaration, that is where the world stand. That is where we have to stand on our own also. USB has a government. They are the only government that it is legal, has this legal shield because of what? A peaceful declaration. Because of what? A peaceful declaration. Stop being confused. Stop saying on the fence. The truth must be told. The truth is very bitter. When the truth comes, Hadino follows up. The truth has surfaced. Hadino will be your portion at last. After you have kicked away, after you have kicked and abused and insulted USB, we are declared. Abarosia Ngele. At last time, Ige Krukwa Ngele Baro Wenwa. And not about the Pagano by then. The only thing we are doing is being under saved. We are saving it for you. And you're the one we are doing. Let us see who will get this recognition, whether it's you or USB. Let us see. It's a challenge. You don't know. On the legal criteria of having a new country, let us see who maintain those criteria. On the legal shield of having a government in exile, on the legal shield of having a government structure, let us see if it is you and your group. What the world will count to give a new country recognition is not what you count. It's not what you think. It's not how you feel. It's not what you know. It's only them know it. The only thing you will do is to follow the criteria. The criteria is what I'm giving you for us to help the government and follow it and maintain it, put pressure on them. So the world will understand that those hidden agendas, those hidden documents, that we have grabbed all of them. Do not panic. Do not move an inch. Do not panic. Do not move an inch. Everything is working on existing protocol. If you enter school today, you stand on the existing protocol of that school. You are not going to change the law of the school. You're not going to come and change the textbook. You're not going to check how much work they are doing. That is the pure truth. Rather, they will add more if they think it's necessary for them to add it. My people, I want to listen fully again because we're coming to close the program. Then we'll return in some hours again. We'll come back again.
In the 21st century legal landscape, the difference between these two groups is the difference between a rebellious faction and a state in waiting. International bodies, the UN, AU, EU, and foreign courts, look for specific markers of legitimacy. Here is how they distinguish between your two scenarios. 1. Agitation without.
You also have a chance to support us with a super chat. You have the right to support us with a super chat if you can. If you want to do that, you can do that on your own.
A peaceful declaration. This group is often viewed as a social protest movement, or, in harsher legal terms, an insurgent group. The legal void. Without a formal peaceful declaration, the international community has no written guarantee of what the group intends to do if they win. Will they respect human rights? Will they follow international treaties? The labeling risk. Because agitation can easily be provoked into violence, governments find it very easy to label these groups as terrorist organizations or internal security threats. International view. They are seen as a domestic police matter. Other countries are usually hesitant to intervene because there is no clear legal person to talk to. 2. Civil disobedience, plus sit at home, plus peaceful declaration. This group is following the Kosovo or South Sudan model, which is the gold standard for 21st century self-determination. The power of the sit at home. In international law, this is called demonstrated effectiveness. By getting millions of people to stay home, the group proves to the world that they, not the central government, control the will of the people. It is a non-violent show of force. The peaceful declaration, this is a legal contract. By issuing this, the group officially enters the international stage. They are saying, asterisk, we're not just protesters, we're a government. We promise to follow the UN Charter. The defense of civil disobedience. Because the group is peaceful and disobedient, rather than violent and agitating, they gain the moral high ground. If the central government uses force against a sit at home, the international community views it as a crime against humanity rather than a protesters. Comparison. The legal standing. Feature. Agitation only. Civil disobedience. Plus declaration. Legal personality. None. Seen as the mob. Emerging state actor. Main defense. Free speech. Weak. Right to self-determination. Strong. Foreign support. Unlikely. Too risky. Possible. Diplomatic recognition. Outcome. Arrest/dispersal. Referendum/mediation. Why the Declaration is the 21st century shield. In the 20th century, groups used guns to get attention. In the 21st century, groups use law and media. When a group makes a peaceful declaration, they move their struggle from the streets to the courtroom. They can hire international lawyers, lobby the US Congress, and file cases at the African Court on Human and People's Rights. Important note. A group that does agitation without a declaration is essentially fighting a boxing match with their hands tied. A group with a peaceful declaration and a history of civil disobedience is inviting the world to be the referee. Would you like me to look up the criteria for statehood under the Montevideo Convention to see how a peaceful declaration helps meet those requirements?
I hope if you even just join us right now, you have understand our discussion today. The only thing I ask you is anytime you are going to watch this program, just do me that favor of liking the program and sharing it. That is the only thing I needed from you to do for me. I want you to like the program. Once you like and share the program, other people will come to join us. That is why I pleaded with you all the time to like and do what? And share the program so others will come or whenever they are listening so they can be able to join the program. They can be able to listen to the program because it is very important that this is what we're into, that we understand all this important our peaceful declaration, why we must continue. Why we must continue. Uche Ejiofor, I see you. Good afternoon from here, or good evening. Yes, what is that? It is afternoon from here. Thank you so much. I see you, Obenaya Njoko. Thank you so much. Shuku Deberemadu, I see you. Thank you so much. Christy Biafra, son, thank you so much. Despite you are late today, you are very, very late today as we are summarizing. You are just joining us. So, my people, the movement that we are into, we are on the right track. The USB has agreed and adopted the 21st century laws. On that, because of Christy Biafra, I will only play it once again. And after that, we want to shut the program down. We're going to come back in the next some hours again today to stay up to 3 to 4 hours again after these 2 and some hours we have already spent already. It is very important because what we are doing is very important. I urge you to please like and share the program. Like.
In the 21st century legal landscape, the difference between these two groups is the difference between a rebellious faction and a state in waiting. International bodies, the UN, AU, EU, and foreign courts look for specific markers of legitimacy. Here is how they distinguish between your two scenarios. 1. Agitation without peaceful declaration. This group is often viewed as a social protest movement, or, in harsher legal terms, an insurgent group. The legal void. Without a formal peaceful declaration, the international community has no written guarantee of what the group intends to do if they win. Will they respect human rights? Will they follow international treaties? The labeling risk. Because agitation can easily be provoked into violence, governments find it very easy to label these groups as terrorist organizations or internal security threats. International view. They are seen as a domestic police matter. Other countries are usually hesitant to intervene because there is no clear legal person to talk to. 2. Civil disobedience, plus sit at home, plus peaceful declaration. This group is following the Kosovo or South Sudan model, which is the gold standard for 21st century self-determination. The power of the sit at home. In international law, this is called demonstrated effectiveness. By getting millions of people to stay home, the group proves to the world that they, not the central government, control the will of the people. It is a non-violent show of force. The peaceful declaration. This is a legal contract. By issuing this, the group officially enters the international stage. They are saying, asterisk, we're not just protesters, we're a government. We promise to follow the UN Charter. The defense of civil disobedience. Because the group is peaceful and disobedient, rather than violent and agitating, they gain the moral high ground. If the central government uses force against a sit at home, the international community views it as a crime against humanity rather than a quote protesters. Comparison. The legal standing. Feature. Agitation only. Civil disobedience. Plus declaration. Legal personality. None. Seen as the mob. Emerging state actor. Main defense. Free speech. Weak. Right to self-determination. Strong. Foreign support. Unlikely. Too risky. Possible. Diplomatic recognition. Outcome. Arrest/dispersal. Referendum/mediation. Why the Declaration is the 21st century shield. In the 20th century, groups used guns to get attention. In the 21st century, groups use law and media. When a group makes a peaceful declaration, they move their struggle from the streets to the courtroom. They can hire international lawyers, lobby the US Congress, and file cases at the African Court on Human and People's Rights. Important note. A group that does agitation without a declaration is essentially fighting a boxing match with their hands tied. A group with a peaceful declaration and a history of civil disobedience is inviting the world to be the referee. Would you like me to look up the criteria for statehood under the Montevideo Convention to see how a peaceful declaration helps meet those requirements?
I hope you have listened carefully. We will come back again in the next few hours today. So watch out, turn the notification on. So once you come, you will know. We will continue on the second section of this particular. The only thing we need to know, present to the world, the level of our peaceful declaration, how it met all the criteria of the UN, EU, and AU in this 21st century. It's no longer issue of gun and bullet. It is issue of peaceful declaration. And USB in question has done that. That is the mandate we are here to protect. That is the mandate we are here to exercise our right on it. That is the mandate that is very important to us at this stage that we are into. It's not what anybody think. Please like and share if you're just joining us. Hit the like button as we are coming to the end of this program until we come back in the next few hours again. Thank you so much, my fellow dear friends, until we come back again. Thank you so much. One love.